My name is Margaret. I'm 73 years old, and 8 years ago, I came within 2 weeks of making the biggest mistake of my life. Not a small mistake, not something you can fix with time. I was about to sign a marriage license that could have cost me everything I had spent my entire life building: my home, my savings, my children's future, and something even more fragile than all of that: myself. People thought I was crazy when I called it off. The dress was already bought, invitations were sent, family had made plans, and I walked away, just like that. They said I was bitter, afraid, that grief was clouding my judgment. Some even said, "You're going to regret dying alone." But here's the truth no one tells women, not at 40, not at 60, and definitely not at 70. After 60, remarriage is not just a romantic decision. It's a legal, emotional, and deeply personal risk. And there are 5 reasons for that, 5 truths that most women only learn after it's too late. I almost learned them the hard way. My husband Daniel died on a quiet Tuesday morning. A heart attack. Quick. No warning. People say that's a blessing. Maybe it is. But they don't tell you what comes after. The silence. For the first few weeks, there were people everywhere. Food on the table, voices in the house, sympathy that felt overwhelming. But eventually, everyone leaves, and you're left with something you've never experienced before: alone. I had never lived alone, not once, from my parents' home to my husband's. 70 years, and not a single night by myself. And loneliness at that age is not quiet. It's physical. It sits in your chest. It follows you from room to room. It makes even a full house feel empty. That's when people start talking. "Mom, you shouldn't be alone. You need someone. Dad would want you to be happy." At first I resisted. Then slowly, I started believing them. Maybe they were right. Maybe being alone meant I had failed somehow. And that's when I met Walter. Widower, soft-spoken, stable, safe. We started with coffee, then dinners, then daily calls. And 6 months later, he proposed. Not dramatically, not romantically, practically. "We're both alone," he said. "It makes sense." And that word, sense, felt comforting. So I said yes, not because I was in love, but because I didn't want to feel alone anymore. And that was my first mistake. You don't remarry for love after 60. You remarry to escape loneliness. And loneliness is powerful. It will convince you that any companionship is better than silence. But what you don't realize is, when you marry to escape loneliness, you don't remove it. You carry it into the relationship, and sometimes it grows even louder. At the time, I didn't see that. I just saw relief. And relief can be very misleading. 2 weeks before the wedding, everything looked perfect. The venue was booked. The dress was ready. People were happy for me. But something inside me felt unsettled. Not panic, not fear, just a quiet discomfort I couldn't explain. Then a friend of mine told me a story that changed everything. Her sister had remarried at 68. A kind man, responsible, financially stable. At least, that's what everyone believed. 8 months into the marriage, the truth came out. Debt, medical bills, credit cards, loans he had never mentioned. And the moment they got married, those problems became hers, legally. Her savings started disappearing, her retirement drained, her credit destroyed. Within 3 years, everything she had built over decades was gone. That's when I understood the second truth. Marriage after 60 can financially destroy you. At this age, you don't have time to rebuild. If something goes wrong, there's no second chance. You're not starting over at 30, you're protecting what's left at 70. That same week, I spoke to a financial advisor. She didn't soften her words. When you remarry, she said, your assets are no longer just yours. If he has debt, you're exposed. If he gets sick, your savings pay for it. If things go wrong, you lose half. And suddenly, I wasn't thinking about love anymore. I was thinking about risk. My home, my savings, my children's inheritance, all of it suddenly vulnerable. And for what? Companionship I already had without signing anything. But even then, I hadn't called off the wedding because something else had already started happening, something subtle. I began adjusting, changing plans, canceling small things, rearranging my life without even realizing it. And one morning, I saw it clearly. I was disappearing. That's the third truth. You slowly lose yourself without noticing. After Daniel passed, for the first time in my life, I had started living on my own terms, waking up when I wanted, eating when I felt like it, sitting in silence without explanation. Small freedoms, but they were mine, and now I was giving them away again, not because I had to, but because I had been trained to. Decades of marriage teach you to adjust, to accommodate, to shrink yourself, so everything feels smooth. And I realized if I married again, I would spend the rest of my life doing that, again, before I even understood who I was on my own. Then I met my friend Dorothy. She had remarried 3 years earlier. I asked her how it was. She smiled, but her eyes didn't. "It's fine," she said. "He's a good man." And then she whispered, "I miss my own life." She told me how everything had changed, how she had to explain where she was going, why she was out too long, why she chose her family sometimes. At 75 years old, she was justifying her existence again. That's when the fourth truth became clear. Remarriage replaces freedom with obligation. Companionship sounds comforting, but it comes with expectations. And at this stage in life, expectations feel heavier because you've already carried them once. And then came the final realization. One quiet night, sitting alone in my kitchen, I asked myself a simple question. Why am I doing this? And the answer was uncomfortable. It wasn't love. It wasn't even companionship. It was pressure. The belief that I should. That being alone meant failure. That I needed someone to complete my life. But that wasn't true. That was conditioning. And that was the fifth truth. You're not choosing love. You're choosing what you think you're supposed to do. And in that moment, everything became clear. I didn't need a husband. I needed permission to choose myself. So I made the hardest decision of my life, 2 weeks before the wedding, I called it off. People were disappointed. Some were angry. But for the first time in my life, I felt free. Not because I had lost something, but because I had protected something, myself. And if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. After 60, love is not about finding someone. It's about not losing yourself. Because at this stage, peace matters more than partnership, and you deserve both, but never at the cost of yourself.